This is Sports Charlotte, the podcast about sports in Charlotte. My name is Herb White. I'm editor-in-chief at the Charlotte Post. This is Cameron Williams, who is the staff reporter at the Post. It is Thursday, January 29, 2026. And there's so much going on, starting with the weather, but there's also sports still going on. And top of the list locally, Charlotte Hornets win streak. More than 2 games. You don't see that very often around here, but they are playing very good basketball.
You said it. They're playing good. I don't think there's much you can really analytically break down other than the fact that they're not. I mean, yeah, the Wizards game was a little bit more close or a little too close for comfort, but a lot of these wins have been bad. I mean, 124-97 over the Magic. He had the 4-point win over the Wizards, but yes, the 76ers were without a bunch of key players. But even so, they held Maxey under 20 points. No, they held Maxey under double figures. He only had 6 points that game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about a team who's playing not only good offense, scoring 130, 127, 112 last night, but also good defense. Out of the last 4 games, you've held 4 of the opponents under 100. So buying into that defensive identity that Charles Lee, their coach, wants them to play with, while also having fun scoring the ball. It's refreshing to see, quite frankly.
And they're still flying under the radar nationally, which is appropriate, I guess. It's still a sub 500 record that they have. And 4-game win streaks don't necessarily gen up a whole lot of attention. But it's the way that they've gone about it, I think, that gives folks who are ardent Hornets fans hope. And to me, you're talking about people who aren't necessarily those big names like Moussa Diabate, who has been playing out of his mind since he was moved into the starting lineup. He's been a revelation. How this guy just suddenly sprang out of nowhere in NBA terms is beyond me. But he's been infectious in terms of the way that he plays. Kon Kneuppel, the rookie, same thing. These guys, even though Kneuppel was the first round, 4th off the board player in last year's draft, he was the other Blue Devil. And there were maybe some not so sure vibes coming out of, well, he's not Cooper Flagg, so is he any good? Oh, he's very good. And it's translated very well to the NBA. And between Kneuppel and Diabate, the veteran players are suddenly buying in and just really meshing well.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. And you hit Kon Kneuppel on the, you got that right. I was kind of surprised when you said that because I didn't think you liked him very much.
Just because I didn't jump up and down shaking pom-poms doesn't mean I saw where his game would translate professionally.
But why would you think the Hornets of all organizations, who have notoriously missed on drafts, pick a player like that?
Because this is a different group. And sooner or later, you would hope, folks would get it right. New ownership comes in, they go out and they hire a new general manager, hire a new head coach, and stated unequivocally that they were going to spend money to get the best out of whatever they could get in terms of assets with players, coaches, what have you. And they've done that. You look at it in terms of return on investment. City of Charlotte is pumping money into upgrading the Spectrum Center. Mm-hmm. You don't want it to turn into a Taj Mahal mausoleum. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to pack the place out. And so the onus is on the Hornets to give people a reason to show up for games. And now, even though it's early days with this group, people are starting to feels some genuine excitement about the possibilities of what can happen. Now, maybe it'll disappear by tomorrow. Who's to say? But you have to give them credit for sticking with the plan. And Charles Lee, and I've said this many times before, this was his first head coaching job. He was learning on the job. And maybe now it's starting to take root.
When you talk about spending money and maybe using some draft assets, different things like that, I hear Giannis is wanting to
Get out of
leave
Milwaukee. Well,
I know right now he's not. The Charlotte Hornets aren't exactly on his short list, and at least not in the teams expressing interest in him. But why not? Think about what that would do. Not only if you're Charles Lee, defensive-minded coach, what that does from a defensive standpoint, and how he can block and alter shots and you grab rebounds, but also offensively, I mean, he is a walking 25 and 10. Walking.
Yeah, but there is the chemistry that goes on too. And granted, if Charlotte could land a player of that caliber, it would really ratchet expectations.
Well,
because when you talk about a player like LaMelo Ball, who is still good for business,
and
Brandon Miller, Kneuppel.
I also think LaMelo has really kind of meshed into his role and fit in his role a little bit better because he's not going out there trying to score 30. He's passing the ball and doing the little things right that gets others involved, like your Bridges and Brandon Miller. I mean, Miller has been on a tear lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we talked before the season, has this kind of shifted to his team? Well, maybe.
I don't think there's much doubt. I mean, because you need to have a lead dog. Brandon Miller is that guy.
Yeah.
And he is ably complemented by Kon Kneuppel and LaMelo Ball. That is your core now.
So is he the Jordan to LaMelo's Scotty?
I wouldn't go that far. Let's not talk about the Hall of Fame. Let's think about the Hall of Very Good for now.
I'm talking about in comparison to ones and two roles. And that if that's the case, who's Kon Kneuppel? John Paxson? Steve Kerr?
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
A bigger one. A bigger. So you're talking about.
You got Moussa Diabate. Who's that? Rodman?
Your defensive guy does all the small things to help you win. Absolutely. I can see that. And so if you add a Giannis to that mix,
he immediately becomes your Michael. And that's no diss to Brandon Miller, but Giannis is good. Giannis is going to be a future first ballot Hall of Famer, unlike Bill Belichick.
Different sport and a different level of pettiness, but let's not get into that. But Giannis would be the lead dog because everything would go through him. However, I am not at all convinced that Charlotte has enough to give up to get that talent.
Well, there have been talks for many seasons now about shopping Miles Bridges. If you get, say, Bridges in a first-round pick, or Bridges a first-round pick and a guy like Josh Green, I'm just saying, I don't think Milwaukee would hesitate too terribly long.
Yeah. I don't think that's enough ransom to demand. Really, you're probably talking about at least 2 first-round picks and some players because those contracts will have to match up. So, I guess the question becomes, how much are the Hornets willing to try to give up? And does this become you're mortgaging your future? Because Giannis is not in his 20s anymore. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, you're going to be on the hook for a while, and you may rue the day that you swung for the fences with this one. And I would imagine that a player in this case, Giannis, would be interested in going to an immediate contender. The Hornets aren't quite there yet. Maybe one more year. And so if Giannis decides to stick around in Milwaukee or they can't find a suitable partner in the trade, if you're talking about the 2026-27 season, maybe the Hornets become that group. But right now, I'm not so sure that they could swing it and it would be a win-win for both sides.
I like the assessment, but you can't help but want a player like that in the city.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it'd be great for the city.
Absolutely. I mean, because you're talking about two guys who are good for business.
Oh, yeah.
And right now, the Hornets, as constructed, they're fun to watch, they're efficient, and they're winning, at least for right now.
Well, they play tonight, so they have a chance to extend that win streak.
Absolutely, against the Dallas Mavericks, where the main Duke guy was drafted, and
the solid front runner for MVP, or not MVP, rookie of the year, in my opinion.
You think so?
Oh, well,
you would put Cooper Flagg ahead of Kon Kneuppel for rookie of the year?
I know what all the sports books are telling me, and he is massive favorites right now.
Well,
minus 400 or longer is the shortest odds I've seen.
How much of that is the hype versus the actual efficiency and impact on the team? Mm-hmm.
I think with Dallas, what you're having to understand is the roster's terrible. AD's never healthy.
Yeah.
What you've seen in Charlotte is a culmination of guys that have gotten healthy and now are all producing. But it wasn't like Kon was willing them to wins early on. They were still losing. He was just putting up numbers.
And a lot of times, that's what this award is about, putting up numbers.
Okay, well, you could say the same for Cooper. He's had a 45 burger this year. Kon hadn't come close.
Yeah, but the Hornets are playing better as a team. And this dude came out from the very beginning playing stellar basketball. Now, granted, he's not going to make an all-star team this year or anything like that. But I don't see any reason why he can't be in that conversation. Now, the hype train is totally on Cooper Flagg's side.
He is in the conversation. He is chomping at his heels, so to speak, number 2, but he's not quite. I just don't think he's quite that total package yet. Can he shoot the 3? Absolutely. Best 3-point rookie shooter out there.
Ever.
Ever. But right now, there's maybe only 2 or 3 guys in the league even better than him right now overall, not just rookies. And Cooper is just kind of that total package. He's not an awesome 3-point shooter, but can knock down enough of them. He's efficient in the paint. He grabs rebounds. He dishes assists. He does everything. He leads his team in steals, which isn't that hard when it's the Mavericks. But my point being, 18.8 a game, so just under Kon, but 6.5 boards, almost 4.5 assists. He's just that do-it-all type guy. And only 33 minutes a game. So it's not like he's playing the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, but either way, I think the Hornets, if you would ask anybody in their front office, are you glad you took this dude? I think it would be unanimous. Heck yeah!
If the Hornets had the first overall pick, who are they going to take?
Oh, they would take Cooper Flagg because everybody believes that he is that kind of player. And like I said, when you draft a player, there are different levels to what you would expect. Okay, the worst case scenario is the player's a bust. Next up, steady contributor. Next, all-star. Next, all-pro.
Yeah.
The all-pro window is where everybody was trying to put Cooper Flagg. And he may very well be all-pro. Oh, sorry. The other one is Hall of Fame. Yeah. So he's at that top 2 expectation list. And maybe Kneuppel was 2 to 3. Maybe an all-star, but certainly a major contributor.
Oh, yeah. And his stats aren't that far off. He's averaging 0.2 less points per game. The rebounding, Cooper with his height, he's going to be expected to get more. But assists, right about the same. So you're looking at 2 players that, quite frankly, to go to the same college, that was that was a very stacked Duke team. All 5 of their guys are in the league now. Obviously, some are playing with G League affiliates, but
And Sion James is
and
good.
Sion James is good. He plays his role well.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think rookie of the year. I don't want to say it's a popularity contest because I don't think that's what it is. But
It is about
I know Hornets fans are going to be upset if Cooper wins it, but I don't think, trying to look at this from an unbiased point of view, you can't really argue if he does. If Kon was out here putting up 25 a night, and then Cooper still won it, okay, then it's like. But I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, I think either way, the Hornets are not going to begrudge themselves of having that player on their roster.
Here's a real quick point of view for you, or at least my point of view. The Hornets getting healthy might have hurt Kon Kneuppel's chances of winning Rookie of the Year more than it helped.
Yeah, because then you wouldn't have to depend on him to jack up as many shots and score as many points.
That's my point.
But the other side of it is he is a professional, and it shows in his attitude and the way that he plays. That is what you want. If you're a coach, it's like you keep all the other stuff if he doesn't win any awards, although he does have 2 Rookie of the Month awards. So, there is that.
He's in the Rising Stars game.
Absolutely. And good for him.
Yeah.
I think that, but my issue is, shouldn't the Hornets have gotten at least one other rookie up in there? Yeah. But by far, he's one of the best rookies.
But their other rookies aren't doing that much.
It's an exhibition. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you're talking about rookies and sophomores. This is a 2-year thing.
Absolutely.
It's not just rookies. Now, if you're talking just rookies, then maybe throw Sion in there. But Ryan Cockburn hadn't played enough games, in my opinion. Sion, there's a lot of second-year guys and even rookies that are several leaps and bounds ahead of him. So I think one is probably good.
Well, at least they got one.
Yeah.
And so I think that to have that representation at All-Star Weekend, it says a lot for Kon Kneuppel and the Hornets, who took my advice and drafted him 4th.
Mm-hmm. Advice.
Hey,
you heard
it
that.
Was free. It was free. You didn't even have to pay a fee to consult. So if you need that help, I'm the one you need to go get.
Advice. He said that on a whim, and then I put it in a story. Advice. Well, anyway, more Charlotte basketball. Not Absolutely. Of the Hornets variety, of the 49ers variety.
Let's do that.
Oh, you want me to start? Okay, why not? 6-2 in the American Conference, the Charlotte men's basketball team, tied for first with 3 other teams. And could you have honestly expected that, seeing how they played earlier in the year?
Yes.
Do enlighten me.
Well, even though they struggled for the most part coming out of the gate, you could see those sparks of possibility in that group. And obviously, Aaron Fern, the head coach, has gotten some buy-in because his roster is always changing because that's the way things are these days.
Yes, it is.
And at some point, it's either going to kick in or fall completely apart. And it looks like they're starting to buy in. Now, granted, who knows what's going to happen with the rest of the season because we're still left with about a month of basketball before we get to tournament time. But it's starting to appear as if the 49ers, at least in the American, can hold their own. Now, if you ask them to step out, who knows what you'll get.
This American Conference has just not been good.
That's putting it mildly.
Top to bottom, it's really a wide open league, and I just don't. Can Charlotte keep up enough play to win it? There's a good chance they could, but I don't think you could have predicted coming into the season with teams like Memphis and USF and a lot of, I guess, perennial American title contenders, North Texas, being that competitive. But none of these. I mean, Memphis has been bad. I don't know if you've seen a lot of their games, but they're not that great. And overall, I just think this league is still pretty wide open. I mean, 1 through 7 really have a chance to win this, and Memphis being that last team at 4-3. But 5-3, 5-3, 6-2, 6-2, 6-2, and 6-2. But with overall records of 14-7, 18-3, so we'll give Tulsa the Golden Hurricanes there props, I guess. But another 14-7 team, Charlotte at 12-9, 13-8, 13-8. So it's not like these teams are great.
Yeah, the American's going to be a one-bid league. There's no doubt about it. I mean, in past seasons, there's been that window where it could have been 2 teams, but this year, unless somebody goes on some incredible run besides Tulsa, that's going to be it.
That's kind of what my case was earlier before we started recording about possibly being a 2-bid league if Tulsa, goes on a hot streak, runs the table, and then gets to the American Conference Championship game and loses that game. They'd have 4 losses on their record, but a plethora of wins, and then obviously the auto bid goes to the tournament winner. They might could sneak 2 teams in there if they only had 4 losses, but anything more than that, you're right. It's definitely one bid league.
But what if Charlotte goes on some incredible run and reels off like 10 wins in a row? Or
they've got 9 losses.
I understand that. But would the tournament selection folks look at that and say, well, you know what? They've been on a really good roll. It's one thing to be bad in terms of the record, but you want to have the best teams in your tournament. And so you want them when they're playing their best ball. You want to be at your best late in the season as opposed to early and then stumble in. Just throwing that out.
They would not put them in with 9 losses.
Oh, so you're saying
they could win out and lose the American Conference Championship game and have 10 losses? Nope.
So you're saying they're going to have to literally win their way in?
Yes, they did not do themselves any favors earlier in the year, losing to Davidson, losing to App State, losing to Illinois State, losing to Richmond, Utah State.
Yeah.
Charleston.
So the strength of competition is what
it wasn't
has
great.
Done them in.
It definitely wasn't great. I mean, you beat teams like A&T and Shaw, Tennessee Tech, Indiana State. Okay, good. You're expected to win those games. But you're expected to win those games. You're not expected to beat Virginia Tech, maybe. Kept that game close. But App State, got to beat those in-state foes. The Temple game, the first Temple game at Charlotte, close game late, hit some free throws, grab a couple more rebounds. That game could have went either way. But, yeah, they didn't do themselves favors early on. Now, they're 2 losses in conference, one obviously to Temple, but then the Tulsa game, yeah, that was pretty belt, as I call it.
Okay.
I mean, Tulsa, they won by 12. But the schedule does set up pretty favorably. I mean, you've got Rice, Wichita State, a struggling Memphis team, UTSA, who's at the bottom of the pack before they go to Tulsa on February the 18th. Who wants to say they can't make a little run here?
Well, using your argument, it really doesn't matter because it's all going to come down to tournament time anyway.
I tend to think so. But having a top seed in the conference tournament is going to be helpful just as far as how things shake out and teams you're going to play. But just looking at this roster, I'm waiting for the game that they all, or at least the starters, all seem to have good games. Last night, it was all Anton Bunk, the center, who doesn't have a middling game. It's either all or nothing with that man.
It's either all chicken feathers or chicken salad.
Yes.
Okay.
He had 25 on 11 of 14 and 9 rebounds. Like, that's a great game. But other games, he'll only play sparing minutes, either based on matchups or just how he's performing. Sometimes it's like you can't hit a layup and the man's over 7 feet tall. But we'll give him his props. Good game against Temple. We'd love to see him keep it up. But the next highest scoring starter, 5 points.
Gonna have to do a little better.
If I were Fern, and
This
I know,
is free advice?
yeah, free advice.
Okay.
Free advice. Not like he's gonna take it, but I mean we've talked about this, so it's nothing that he probably doesn't know already. I think Dezane Mingo needs to start. I mean, this guy. I don't know if it's one of those situations where you want to have one of those star 6-man Manu Ginobili type 6-man off the bench, or Jamal Crawford for the Clippers back when he was with them. But this dude, he is a bona fide starter. 19 points, 8 of 9 from the stripe, 10 assists. You had 2 combined assists on the starting 5. Just saying. Damani Harrison, also off the bench, playing big minutes, though, 16 points. I just think, yeah, I know from a minutes perspective, you only got 13 minutes for one starter, 12 minutes for another, 19 for another. Put your best 5 on the floor to start. I've never understood, and I don't know, maybe the next time I talk with Fern, we can talk about this, but not having your best 5 start the game.
Well, there must be a strategy to it somewhere.
If he can explain it to me, I'd love to hear that, because I don't understand it, but it's been working. You're obviously first in it, or tied for first in the American Conference for a reason, but I would definitely start Mingo. That dude, he can play.
Yeah, well, we still have a little bit of time left in the season. Lots can change. So we'll see how this shakes out for the 49ers as well as the Hornets. It's good to talk about basketball that's moving in a good direction around here.
Yeah, we don't usually get to do that much.
Well, not lately, we haven't. So we'll just see. But another thing that we'll see is you checking out the Sports Charlotte podcast on YouTube. Be sure to ring the bell to subscribe. And while you're at it, go to our website, thecharlottepost.com, become a donor or a subscriber, and sign up for our weekly sports newsletter, curated on Thursdays.
Came out this morning.
Absolutely. And we've got a little bit of everything in there. We'll have football, we'll have soccer, we'll have basketball, of course. And you will not be sorry by doing any of those things. So for everybody here at the office in beautiful Derrida, that's Cam, I'm Herb, and be sure to also listen to us on SoundCloud, Queen City Podcast Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Thanks for listening and watching.